So we're just going to do a quick retro. We obviously, again, your input is important. It matters what you think and how you feel about these meetups, and we are more than happy to make adjustments to suit our audience. So, so we have a board that Katie put together. We have a kind of just we're going to just do a lean coffee, essentially, a lean coffee format to discussed. That sounds funny. That sounds like the other word. I'm disgusted. Discussed and action items coming out of it. So as we all know, good retro ends with some action items. So we're hoping to land the plane on some of those. So if you would, I think, can you post the link in the chat, Katie, for that board? I don't think you have to join or anything. I think you ought to just be able to access it.
It's at the very top, but I will post it again because I don't know if when people join, if they can see the original stuff. There you go.
So hopefully you can get into that board and just start creating cards for things that you would like to discuss. And I'm hoping with kind of a relatively smaller crowd tonight, we'll be able to just get through them all, discuss all of them. Normally in lean coffee, we would vote on what we wanted to talk about and then have it timed. But I'm hoping that we'll get through everything. Anybody having any issues accessing the board? Let me know if you are.
And should we set up a timer for entering topics, or what do you think about that? Or just
Sure,
kind of play it by ear?
Yeah, you could do an online timer, or I can do one here on my phone, whichever you would rather. Egg timer. Oh, isn't that cute?
5 minutes, or do you want 2 minutes, or?
Let's do 5.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of people, so what the heck?
Yeah. I know.
Wendy, I saw you had a topic. Hopefully you get that added, or.
Yep, I'm gonna do it now.
Cool.
Thank you.
Can I ask a request? I just saw one that says potentially move Meetup to first or second week of the month. Agile Denver North is in the second week of the month. So I don't know, is that like Agile Denver, not Agile Boulder specific? And if it is, we can just kind of mark that in the card so that we understand that.
That's a good idea. Maybe we put in there the ones that we know about. So we know Agile Denver, we know Agile Denver North. Yep, we know Agile Boulder.
Yeah. Again, I have a funny feeling there's nobody here from Agile Denver North, so.
Yeah.
I'm cross-representing. I love you both.
All
of
you.
We love you both. We both love you.
I think a lot of people attend both. Like Linda attends both. I remember when we were meeting in person, Linda and I used to always sit at the same table at Agile Denver North.
Nice. Very cool.
I miss seeing you in real life, Linda.
Real life. Real life.
No.
IRL.
Humanness.
We can only hope.
Let's see, while we're waiting, I'm gonna just pull out some random Inspire Me cards from Lisa Atkins, just to give you a little motivation.
Did you get the deck or did you have it, Nancy?
I have the deck. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Here's one. If you chase 2 rabbits, both will escape. And then, so this is kind of a fun little story. So I shared that one with my data science team. And so again, I'll emphasize data science team. And they, of course, went down a rabbit hole of, well, it depends on how you chase the rabbit. It depends on where they had all these different scenarios.
If the rabbit is traveling this direction at this speed and you're traveling at the other direction at this speed, at what point will you meet?
Guys are
Word
killing
problems.
me. Killing me. It was funny. It was so funny.
And the other rabbit is traveling from the other direction at this speed. Is
And
it
they-
possible to intersect and catch both rabbits at the same
Right.
time?
Well, and they were like, well, and they're like, well, if you have a net, it's no problem. And I'm like, oh my God. It's funny.
Stop. Hate word problems.
Is this like puzzles? No puzzles?
Yeah. There's a part of my brain that just doesn't click on, it doesn't fire up when we do that. Like in COVID, my daughter was living with me for a couple months, and she would like put out these 1,000-piece puzzles. There she sat at the table, and like, she'd get it together. And my son and I are both engineers. We'd sit here with like one piece and try and figure out where it went. My daughter, meanwhile, she's just cleaning up. She's just putting all the pieces together and creating puzzles and pictures. And we're still going, I found one. Like, woohoo. Something about,
It's so exciting when you find a piece that fits. It's like, oh my God.
I know, there's something about the brain. She's very, very smart, and she can do that. I can't.
Funny. All right, we have 1 minute left. We got a few cards on here. Nice. Love it. Good stuff. I wish we could play some Jeopardy music or something.
Right?
You just make the Jeopardy sound.
This is being recorded. I don't really want to sing.
Oh, right.
It just
Oh, yeah.
occurred to me.
20 seconds. I think we're going to have some good discussions here. I think we'll be able to do it. Looking good. Thank you, people. Does that egg timer do like a ding, ding, ding when it's done?
It does, but I have it muted because it dings in my ear,
Uh,
and it would not ding in your ear, just mine, so it's expired.
It's expired, yay! All right. Well, gosh, not sure that we should even vote, honestly. I think we might just start at the top and go across. How's that sound, everybody?
Good.
Okay. All right. So potentially moving the meetup. And suggestions for days, any particular days.
So is moving the meetup time or place?
It's probably not the time. I think most of them start at 6 o'clock.
Well, let me try that differently. Are we talking about days of meeting or where we're meeting?
Oh, probably, and not where. Right now, I think that we would say like Agile Boulder would stay at IHS. Is that right? Katie, as far as you know?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that we plan to do anything in person anytime soon.
Yeah. And then Agile Denver North, I'm hoping we can go back to Scrum Alliance when they're open.
I really think that they enjoy that, and that's part of their facility, vision, I think.
Yes.
But I haven't heard peep about coming back in person. I don't think it's going to happen for.
Yeah, it's definitely not on my organization's radar to have people. We're actually going through a merger. Maybe that will change things, but right now, I don't think that there's any anticipated return dates. Our office is open, but there's no requirement to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So location isn't a thing right now. Start time of the meetup. It could be a thing.
I did hear somebody mention that they would be more likely to attend them if they were during the day and not something outside of their workday, but I don't know that we could ever find a time that would fit into people's work days. But throwing it out there because somebody did mention it to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They were like, I just can't, I can't fathom being on additional hours into the evening kind of thing. So
there's that. And also sometimes I have thought that, when we were physically meeting, most people would go to the office, drive home, whatever, and then, or have time to drive from the office to the meetup. And that might even not be a thing so much anymore. So
Yeah, maybe
start it
8 a.m.
earlier.
Yeah, maybe an 8 a.m. Like a lot of people have development teams that don't log on till later. Maybe that's a thing, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
thinking outside of the box with your little tree. Nicole's like, no, I'm not getting up at 8 a.m. You guys aren't worth it.
Or 5 p.m. instead of 6, you know, a little earlier.
Well, what if our action item might be to either A, do a poll to the community, or B, and this could, or just experiment, like, hey guys, we're just going to switch it up and see how we can get attendance and get feedback, and schedule it at on a 8 o'clock in the morning one day, just to see the feedback on that, like just experiment and see.
Might be worthwhile. I've been participating in London groups and on the East Coast groups.
Me too.
Because
Yep.
they're during the day.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
not because they're during the day, but because they fall in where my coffee break is.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I have lunch with the Londoners.
Nice. Who else has any suggestions, feedback on this one?
Ooh, why'd that disappear?
I don't mind
That
that
was
the
weird.
6 p.m. works fine for me. And
Yeah.
switching it would, you know, if it was a different, you know, week in the month, that would be fine too.
Yeah, I would definitely personally vote for a different week, because there are a lot of times, to your earlier point, Sherry, that I want to go to an Agile Denver one, but you know, knowing that this one is the same week, it's too much.
Mhm.
So maybe at the very least we might do that. Move the week.
Yep. I mean, why the heck is it disappearing?
It's the third time I've written it, so I give up.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't want us to move it.
You have to click that plus button. No, you click it, just create
See,
it.
that's what she's
Okay.
doing.
Then you should hit, it's crazy.
I've tried 3 different things, so I don't know.
Can you
Maybe-
put it up? Oh, maybe go to the
There we go.
No, it's not working at all.
Why don't
Wow.
you maybe refresh your page, just see if it'll
Does
take
it have
care
to
of
go?
Good
whatever
idea.
glitch.
Does it have to go
Um,
through discussed first?
Oh, yeah. Maybe maybe you skipped a step. Does it have to go through?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, Linda. That's a
It's-
possibility, but it does look like it's having a technical meltdown.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
You know what? We could throw this
will-
in a Google sheet, you guys. We could just put it in a
But
Google
how do we
sheet.
see what was already put? Somebody
I
grab a
have
screenshot while you still can.
Yeah, I have it
Right.
up, so I'm able to look at it. But wow,
Can you
I thought-
export it really quick,
There.
Nancy?
can I what?
Can you export it really quick?
Yeah. Let me. Here,
And then maybe we throw it
Oh,
into
no, I
a Google
can't.
sheet.
It threw me an error. It went. It just went down.
It just died. You know what? I think
So
ideas
somebody
is out
grab
of
a
ideas.
screenshot. Somebody
I
grab a
got it, I got a
screenshot before.
screenshot.
it
Yeah.
Got the
dies.
screenshot. I got the
Okay.
screenshot.
Okay. And then whoever got the screenshot, just share your screen and we'll roll with it.
Yeah,
Ah,
let's do that. And then we
This
could just throw some stuff in a Google sheet or something.
Yeah, does the
Maybe.
tool use Amazon or something?
Amazon.
I can share my.
Amazon, I think, was having issues at some point with.
Oh God, Amazon. We were down yesterday, like just because of AWS.
Ah, okay.
Oh yeah, it went down.
All
Okay,
right.
does this help? Can you see?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I just
Kate,
wanted to throw one more
Yeah.
thought into that discussion. And, you know, when we talk about changing, you know, experimenting 8 o'clock, noon, hopefully, you know, hopefully that'll be a temporary situation, because we do want to go back in person. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure I can go to Scrum Alliance and say, okay, now we want an 8 o'clock breakfast or a
That's a good
12 o'clock
point.
lunch. So
good point.
because we're living in the Zoom world, this is all good, but I just want to keep that in mind. Like for Agile Denver North, I'm not sure I want to change it all up, because I'm hoping maybe 6 months from now, we'll be able to do this. And if we aren't, then shoot me. But, you know.
Well, this is the thing. I like this idea of, if we're in a virtual world, to try and experiment doing something in the morning, at least for Agile Boulder. And then we'll check in with the community and say, hey, we're going to do a live event. And then we can switch it to an evening, you know, and figure
Mhm.
that out.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Just
Yeah,
like
no,
we can
it's-
adapt this way, we could always adapt back. But I think it's a really good point. You're right, Marie.
Just a thought. throw it in there.
That is a good
Yeah.
point. Okay, what I'm doing over here is I'm taking notes.
Ooh, I was too, but good. We
Right,
can all
oh.
take notes and then we
I'll
can
take
combine
notes.
them or compare them.
Yeah, I'll take notes. Okay. So the action item on that was to experiment, maybe do a poll. I think a poll is a good idea, and send a poll out to everybody. So take poll, distribute, create poll on.
And one of the items on the poll
Ooh,
would be,
we're back.
you know,
Oh, okay.
Let me test it, but I think we're back. Yes, we are
Okay.
back.
Okay, good.
how strange, but it is what it is.
Everybody, yeah, go ahead, Siri.
One of the poll items would be selecting 8 o'clock in the morning and explicitly say it's for while we're virtual.
Mm-hmm. Okay. On moving date, time of meetups. Okay, cool.
All right. I think Katie, do you want to share your screen again?
Oh, I thought it did, but it didn't. You're
I
right.
know. There you go. Okay,
All
cool.
right. And we're back. Nice. Okay.
All right.
So that green card can go, yeah, down to discuss. Nice.
Nice.
What do we got next?
Is this like a topic that people would like to see?
That is a topic I added. Yeah, I was talking to a group of Scrum Masters last week, and they were talking about they all work in a program together, and they were talking about how they get together like once a month or so, and they have rotating topics. But one of the topics that they practice with one another is somebody takes the lead in like creating different scenarios that you might face within a team, and then they kind of role play. Somebody plays a Scrum Master, somebody plays the PO, maybe somebody plays a dev or dev QA, and they role play through scenarios that real world scenarios you might face in a team that you and they role play through it, and then they coach each other through like how would you approach the situation. So something like that I think might be useful, some like hands-on training and just role playing through scenarios. I think is rather than talking about scenarios or how you would handle this, that like actually coming together as a group and either breaking off in like smaller subgroups if there was a large group that attended that time, but just working through scenarios.
I think we recently did that in the coaching leaders is different than coaching. Wasn't that part of that session? It's a great idea though. Yeah, we should definitely.
Yeah, I love that idea. I would actually love to do that at work.
Right. And I know I think we did this too. The last in-person Mile High Agile, there was one group that I attended, and we broke off and did this, and I thought it was really awesome and helped me in a lot of ways. Both see sides of like what a Scrum Master, where you might be coming from as a Scrum Master versus where you might be coming from as a PO, like to put yourself in the PO shoes or put yourself in the developer shoes, like what, and to try to see their side of, whether whatever scenario, or it could be a ceremony that you're working through. It doesn't have to be a conflict. It just can be, an Agile ceremony you're working.
Yeah, and Mac agrees. He said using our current problems and solutions to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if we had quite a few people and breakout rooms, and like each breakout room could be a team, or something.
Right. Yeah, and there's something different like when you talk about how you would act in a scenario about, oh, well, have you tried this or you tried that, to actually like play through the scenario is a different, gives you a different take.
Really cool.
I feel like that could just go straight to action item as is.
Yep, I agree. I think we could just make a session to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's session is going to be role play.
So I'm sorry, I got distracted by something that popped up. In this type of meetup, would you then have a facilitator who's going to jump through all the breakout rooms? Like, I guess you form your teams, and then you have like the pro kind of that's going to help facilitate as if needed in the breakout rooms? Like, what was
I
your?
wonder if you'd have, like, depending upon how many people were there, maybe you'd have the scenarios created, and you could have one person who hops into different meeting rooms to check in, or you could have, say, one person who plays the coach, right? That could be a role within the group itself.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Would that be a professional coach, like somebody that's really there to train or teach, or is that person playing the coach? I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
how
I mean,
do
you could,
I like playing the coach. We all need a place to practice.
Like, so, but if you're playing the coach and scrum master, and then you have a PO and a dev, let's just say that,
mhm.
who do we recruit to be at this meetup? Do we need somebody? Yeah,
You might want to have we might want to have a coach,
okay, that's what I was
like an
gonna say.
Agile coach. We might even want to have a couple of Agile coaches, right?
Okay. I would
And
take
they could
that.
even hop in the room and play another role, right? And then we can come back and kind of dissect how things went in each group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just Nicole's. Yeah, so we spent some time this summer in the Agile Mastery class with Lisa Adkins, and that's what we did was similar. When the meetings started, we went into breakout rooms for like 10 minutes or something, 5 minutes, whatever it was, and we had an accountability conversation. So one person was the coach, one person was the coachee, and one person was the observer. And then we round robined in those breakout rooms. And then we all went back to the main room, and Lisa asked for shares, right? So she was the main professional coach, and she asked for shares. How did that go? What did you think as the observer? What did you think? How did it feel to be the coach? How did it feel, what problems did you run into?
I participated in that too. I wasn't able to always physically be there. I did check out the recordings. And the thing that I also thought was interesting with those accountability check-ins was asking the question of what did you learn from not meeting some of your goals that you had set? That was really interesting.
Right. So that's I think that's a very feasible session to have personally. I think that would be
cool.
We could set that up. We could get a coach to kind of, give us some feedback on how the breakout rooms went. And yeah.
What was the event this summer? I must have missed that.
Agile Mastery. It was a summer.
It was through Adam Weisbert. He was facilitating that, and we basically did book club with Lisa Atkins effectively with her coaching.
So I remember the virtual Agile. Yeah, I have that one. I saw the virtual Agile summit. This was something different. I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was different. You had to sign up for it. So anyway, cool. Very cool.
So Linda has to leave at 7. Linda, is there any other items here that you might want to bring up?
No, I don't, but I do remember the session where we basically got 3 people together. 2 of them are talking and 1 is watching. And I like that format. It's actually a nice size.
Cool.
That was Williams, the 3 things, or
I think
no, I know what
Not
she's
that?
talking
Troika
about. We did it
Consulting. That's what
Yeah.
Marie's talking about, but I think Linda's talking about something else.
She is, because I know exactly what Linda's talking about. We were in the basement of the Cheesecake Factory.
that's right.
I know what she's talking about. I just can't remember what it's called.
I can't either, but I'm listening to this and I'm really excited. I'm sorry I have to go.
Okay, we appreciate your input, Belinda.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
So at Red Hat, we actually have 2 pages of scenarios that we'll go through, and it can be great. They can be a PM and a PO or something. So I can also offer that up.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
that would be super cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Or make Omar come. He loves it.
Oh, awesome. I'm writing that down. Okay. What else on this topic? Other thoughts?
I don't know. It's great. And I'm sure that other ideas will spur from it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is ways to get to know and obtain topics people want to come see.
So I have an idea for this
Yeah.
is,
Can I ask a question real fast? Who wrote this?
I did.
it probably was, okay, go ahead, Nicole.
The reason I just wanted to get clarification real fast before we jumped in, just to understand the vision of this card.
Yep. Go ahead, Nicole.
I think you had it. Basically, like the July when people didn't come. Like if there was something that was overwhelmingly more interesting than the weather, like what is it? I don't know that what people want. I know what I want to see, which is not always what somebody else wants to see. So how do we figure it out of who wants to see what?
Yeah. Yep.
So I interpreted this a lot different, and I just realized that like you can have the most fantastic speaker and the most fantastic venue, all of these fantastic, but if you have a nice, beautiful day, there's other things that factor in and why people can't make it. And it's really hard to be able to take a poll on like what determined why you couldn't make it, or what helped you in your decision making to not to come. The way I interpreted this was we're trying to understand what does the community want to see, like topics.
Oh, okay.
And so I had some other things that I added in here that might kind of answer this question, Nicole, but the way I interpreted this, and maybe I should just add a different item to discuss. Let me just add a different item to discuss. I'm just going to add a different item.
Okay. So what you're getting at, Nicole, with this one is, yeah, like what if something just occurred to me when we were talking, and I know not everybody would be willing to do this, but if they had to answer a question or something when they either declined to come to the meetup, or I don't know, there was some survey afterward or something, and say, can you help us understand and let us know why you chose not to attend? And not everybody's going to fill that out, I know, but I wonder if that might be, so we can start understanding maybe it's a poll, like not a fill in the blank, but it's more of was it the weather? Was it a family thing? Was it I'm too tired? Was it, I don't know. Maybe we could come up with something. Is that kind of what you're getting at? So we can start to understand the data.
Well, it just, is there something more interesting that we're not knowing to try and get a speaker for?
Yeah.
And that's what we were hoping to find tonight, right? But to Sherry's point, maybe you can send out a poll. Maybe we send it to Agile Denver, Agile Denver North, Agile Boulder, and see if we can come up with some topics that seem to really ring a bell for folks.
Yeah.
I know my experience, a lot of people, I watch poor Lori Langston sending out polls and like, please answer this poll.
I know.
And she's sending it
Yeah.
everywhere. Please. And so I know that, and even for myself, I just take like quick 5 minutes. I'm like, oh no, this is the third time she sent this out. I'm going to do this really fast. But that's just me. I know that polling is not always the most responsive or effective way to get information, but I had an idea that I added that might be a good dovetail to this, which is instead of doing lean copies, because I know we've done that before, maybe what we need to pose is, what problems are you trying to solve?
Well,
And then
what problems of the meetup, or
no, like just like in
Going
real
back to the
life.
role playing, going back to like what we're thinking about with role playing is, what problems are you having, and then we can role play them,
I see.
or instead of
And
that.
Or
That could
not
be
even
like
like
the
role
part,
play.
like,
That's not where
instead
I
of
was
like
going with it.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't want to mash them together. The kind of the focus would be of like, that would help us better understand the community and the things they're interested in, the needs that they have. So for example, this morning, I'm interested in learning about lean portfolio management, and Scaled Agile had a workshop this morning. So boom, I was on there because I was interested in that. I'm not quite in the maturity of that with my client to implement something like that, but I want to know enough to start implementing a little bit. But that's an in real life problem I'm trying to solve right now. And so, just to get that conversation started with the organization. So that's what I'm wondering if, because then that will then say, oh, okay, well, if people want to know about lean portfolio management, maybe I need to go talk with somebody who's a pro at this to bring them in as a speaker. Like, how do we make lean portfolio management approachable? How do you get that conversation started? That type of thing. Which,
Right.
by the way, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, sorry. Thank you for clarifying. I wasn't trying to conflate it with the role playing. I was saying what we were talking about when we were talking about role playing is talking about what was relevant to us in real life. So, but thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something you do at like maybe the beginning of each quarter. We do something like, it could even be like this ideas board. Instead of to discuss, it could be that question you just posed. What are you trying to solve right now, or what something like that. And we get a whole bunch of topics and we then vote on them, and then that's how we try to guide the speakers for that quarter.
Yeah, I kind of like that, where maybe it's like quarterly planning for us, right? And we gather the problems that we need to solve for the quarter.
Yeah,
And
we might have to do that session like 1 month or before the quarter starts, so that we have time to plan for like that first session or something, however, whatever the cadence is, but we keep it fresh.
Do you think that folks, like the community, here we are, there's all 9 of us. You really think the community is going to join these? I don't, because here's a retrospective and it's across 2.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
It's like they're not going to do this.
Last year when we did this, there were a lot of people. I think people are just burnt out, honestly.
Yeah. And it's just hard. Well, I know at least when we talk about why don't you show up, I often intend to come to more of these. And I know 6 p.m. is the time when I would be able to make it. It's just, and it's not that I don't want to come, and all the sessions sound amazing. And I wish I came more to these more often. It's just stuff comes up with family, like with kids studying for finals, needing help, needing to drive somebody somewhere. Like it's just after work stuff is sometimes just hard.
I would do much better with, say, like 8 a.m. I know not everybody would, but I would do better. I'm a morning person. Like by the time I get to the end of the day, I'm like, I need to unwind and unplug, in the morning, I'm still like fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know. 8, I think 8, I would have the same problem. It would be like
dropping off kids,
get out the door and trying, I'd need to make it more of a priority for.
Well, there's different phases of life too, right?
Yeah, so. And then I think once you attend a session, then you're more fired up, and you're like, oh yeah, that was great, and I'm connecting with my people, my community, and talking about my craft, and I need to be attending these more often, and then you're fired up. Right. Then you don't go for a month or 2 and you're like, oh crap, like I gotta drive so-and-so here, and I gotta go to the grocery store, and dinner's not gonna cook itself, and blah, 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 Yeah.
And I think too, I don't know, again, it would be really cool. It would be cool to have a calendar view of all the meetups happening all over, because maybe people realize that there are some good ones at 8 a.m. It may not be Agile Boulder, but it might be another one that you could go.
Maybe I need to start attending Agile London or something.
Exactly.
But that's exactly why I created that Trello board, because it could be in calendar format, and then it could be like embedded into the Mile High Agile. But I think Jen has figured out a Google Calendar solution for us.
Let's take that as an action. Can we check into the calendar view and at least get more visibility into what is actually out there?
I feel like Lori showed it.
Yeah,
I was trying to show it to you guys
today.
I was also trying to show you guys here when I had it open, and I was trying to show it to you guys that it's all, I don't know. Can you see it?
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
I turn off the holidays. It's a bit distracting, but
so like if you posted that link in the chat right now, could we all get to the calendar?
Now that's a good question. I would think so, but I don't know.
There's ways in Google Calendar to create a group specific calendar.
Yeah, and sometimes you can add it from just like the URL, right? You can add a calendar.
And then I
Scrum
Right.
Master hat here. Should we time box this or get to the next topic?
Yeah,
Oh.
let's,
That's good call.
Okay, so discussed
an
is
action.
this, and then an action item, Nancy, you wanted to add was about follow-up
Follow
on
up on
Google
a
Calendar.
comprehensive calendar, yeah, for the meetups. All righty. Okay, what's the next one we have here?
Okay, so that's also discussed.
I have an idea. I'm going to put it on there too.
Okay. I am requesting, if you're looking for topics for next year, could you consider great ideas for planning and retros?
So I think this was from Wendy. I think she was looking for ways to get people more engaged in retro. And Claire, I don't know if you want to contribute, if there was more to this.
Yeah, I think she's just looking for ideas to get people. I think I know she's got a team who's very quiet, introverted, and was looking for retro ideas, maybe even icebreakers leading into a retro to kind of get people talking, as well as, I think she's just dealing with a quiet team, and then taking that as a reflection on what she can, is she doing enough to get them talking? So and maybe even the role playing thing might help her some too, right? So I think she was looking for some fresh retrospective ideas.
What I was going to say is I remember there was a time, Sherry, I think when last year or whenever it was, that you had a bunch of icebreakers. There was somebody was collecting a resource, was making a resource.
Agile Denver, that was our holiday party last year. That was our virtual holiday party. So yes, we did have a Google form. It's still open. And as long as you contribute something, that's kind of the deal. If you contribute one thing, we'll share out the entire
That's
compilation of everything.
So Marie, did you have a?
Well, I think I'll look and see what we have for our FAQ for Agile Denver North, but I think we have a bunch of icebreaker and links to icebreakers and stuff. So I'm going to pull that up and I'll share that in the link.
Okay.
Great.
And I was thinking we could,
how do we get access
to those things?
To this chat, to the links in this chat from this Zoom? Is that available to us somehow?
Yes.
Sure.
The chat ends up coming to me, I think.
It does. Local. Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's local and it'll show up to me. So what should we do with it next?
Then is it a text file?
Yeah, I think it is.
So you probably could, I don't know what it would look like when you open it, but.
It's not pretty.
Are you wanting, so if you're wanting to share it, we can put it on the Google Drive and share it.
You know what I could do? Well, let me think about that as we're talking. Whatever links that we need from the chat, I can stick in our FAQ and just always post that because that's out there and it's in a public file.
So Nancy and Marie, which one of you did the games? Because I stole that whole list from what's her name?
So Agile Denver did the games, but Agile Boulder did games as well. And it was a totally different speaker. Agile Denver was like a compilation from the community. And that was our holiday party.
Yeah. And then Agile Denver North we did a games thing, but we collected a lot. So let me look at the FAQ and see what I have, but I think there's links here that I can put in the chat real fast too. So
okay, perfect. Thank you.
So yeah, all three groups have done some sort of game. So Nicole, which one are you maybe talking about?
I can't remember.
Right.
I know I did poorly at one of them.
I mean, I have my own running list, I have a plethora that I've collected over the years, but.
Well, I did a meetup. We did a meetup, Nance, when we had this guy come in and he has all these games, and then he also had a website that we could go to.
Yep. I bet I can find that. I bet I still have that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
as an action. You want to take? We can.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the FAQ. I found the FAQ. I'm gonna put it in there, and there's a whole section called games, and
awesome.
it does include it's called sivawisegames.com, which is a free site. he went through some of those, and there's story cubes. I think Nancy, you did
Right.
the story cube. That was hilarious. Icebreakers, great icebreakers from Christine Hudson. Agile Denver game list, the one that you made public, I guess. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. I just gathered a bunch of stuff.
That's
So let me
perfect.
put this link in here. And
That's-
and you know, I'd appreciate it. I think everybody can edit this. So please feel free to, if you see anything, it'd be really wonderful if you just throw something in here and say here, because we just want like be able to share it with folks that say, God, I don't know what to do today. Oh, I've got this FAQ. I can kind of look at it real
Yeah,
quick.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So let me get that.
I wonder if we could, I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute, but here's another idea. We could talk about it offline, but I like almost on the Meetup site or somewhere creating,
Pin it.
well, yeah, creating like a resource
Mhm.
area,
Let's take that as an action.
a page. Yeah, put that as an action. Or I just did it for me, for our team at work. I created a Google site where we just have a bunch of resources like that.
Yep.
So
Shouldn't that be on Denver Agile? Or
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know.
That's a good question. So maybe that goes along with the action item.
Yeah.
Because Agile Denver, if you're Agile Denver Boulder, or you're Agile Boulder, or you're Agile Denver North, you're not necessarily going to go running to look at Agile Denver if you're not even a member. So
Right.
we have to keep that in mind. You know, we could post what we post in two places, maybe our Meetup area. So we create a resources in like Agile Denver North, Agile Boulder, but maybe we can also in agiledenver.org website also see if, you know, that might be a good thing for folks to do as well. And we're coming up with for our summit, and Nancy,
Yeah.
maybe we can you know,
Yeah.
bring that up in our summit.
I have an idea brewing. Woo-hoo. Okay. Let's do it. All right.
Great idea.
Next. What do we got?
So Katie, all of these are mine, and the last one that says, can we create some sort of backlog that is available? I think that it kind of goes with the one that you have in discussing as well. There's sort of the same idea, because right now I don't think we have enough people here to come up with like, what do you want to hear about? Like, I think we're all just sitting there going, I don't know what we want to hear about. But I had an idea of like, is there a way we could create some sort of link, like Google form, probably actually, that would be, here's for something to add to the product backlog, that we could go in and just see like people are interested in these things. And then that might be part of the quarterly thing that we're also talking about as well. So it could be presented in such a way that it's like, what problems are you trying to solve that could convert into backlog items for potential speaking items?
Well, and related to that, I was gonna volunteer if you get to the point where you've got a list of topics and you want to do a Survey Monkey. I'd be happy to. I purchased a survey, the second level or whatever. I'd be happy to, you know, eat our own dog food and poll the customers, right? Like poll people, see what people are interested in. I was thinking, and we could also have questions around the games, like the list of different games, you know, a couple survey like questions of which games do people actually use and which ones do they think people really like. So there could be multiple things. And the fun thing about Survey Monkey, I used it for a retrospective actually for a client. And you know, you can choose to make things open-ended too. And obviously there's a draft version and all of you would be the customers for it. So before, you know, it would be drafted and then you guys would say, oh, I don't like that, you know, change this, change that. But anyway.
Well, I'm curious why
to
you'd want to use Survey Monkey and how Google Forms wouldn't serve us as like a, like, you know, what's the difference between Google Form and Survey Monkey other than Google Forms would probably be less expensive for us?
We could figure out the implementation later, I guess, but
Yeah, I'm just curious because I did Survey Monkey and then I was like, I'm not using this enough. So I actually stopped my subscription and I've been able to get by with Google Forms. But so So that's awesome that you're offering that up. That's very nice.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
think it's just, it's colors and, but we,
Mhm.
like Nancy
That's
said, that's the
professional.
execution. It could be
Yeah.
that Google Forms is
Yeah.
plenty friendly, but their templates are very plug and play. Like I said, I had to pay for the professional. I've got it for the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
8
I
months.
love
I think one of the
SurveyMonkey when I had a
benefits-
subscription to it through
Yeah.
another company.
I think one of the benefits with SurveyMonkey is you can have a schedule, so it recreates the same exact survey. So say you wanted to do it quarterly, you could do the same survey quarterly and it recreates a new instance of it. We have SurveyMonkey, Claire.
I've done that with
At work, we've got SurveyMonkey. I didn't even know that.
Yes, yeah, because I do this with my team. I have a monthly survey I send and a yearly survey, and it generates the link, emails it to me, and I can send it out, or I can have it auto send out.
We have things I don't even know about.
Well, I think the point.
Agile Denver has it too.
To Sherry's point, Sherry, we're all just trying to build on your point, which is get all the information kind of in, whether it's a backlog or a list of topics or a list of games, and then see what people think. Let's get input from the team, right?
Yeah.
Have I
Yeah.
captured everything for these items, Sherry? So
I would
have-
just say good enough. I just have something in the back of my head about like what might be able to be, implemented. Good enough. Yes.
virtual meetup should get rid of. What should we get rid of?
Well, so like, I'm only putting this up here because it's also part of that whole virtual, we're burned out with Zoom calls. And is there just something that we're not missing, but we think it's important and that everybody needs to know this, but but people really don't care about it anymore. And maybe we should just get rid of it. Whether that is our preamble of announcing before we do recording, like what, I just want to get a little bit of feedback about, like, is there anything that you've experienced that you're like, we don't need to do that anymore. Why are we doing this?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hadn't thought about
I
that.
wonder if some of the preamble stuff could just be posted as a message, but then I don't know if people would read it. And does that do the sponsors justice? Not that we're using much of our sponsorship beyond Agile Denver at the moment.
I personally, me personally, we don't have enough interaction as it is, human interaction. Sitting and looking at slides and, more stuff to read. No, that's me though. That's just me.
Yep.
Wait, for Agile Denver North, like, when did we make that? We made a switch. Probably, Nancy, I think it was last, I'm going to say early winter, because we were adding the lightning talks. Folks said they wanted to do lightning talks. So we said, okay, never mind. We're not going to do all these announcements. What we'll do is we created the FAQ, and it has all SEUs, like has all the information, job boards, Slack. It has everything in the FAQ that we would normally announce. But we always announce the sponsors, and there's certain things that we announce, but we try to keep the announcements to like 5 minutes. Post the FAQ, because we wanted to get to lightning talks, which was really, really very unsuccessful. Nobody really.
I know, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, but I liked the idea of maybe posting the FAQ and just putting it in chat or as a link. But to Nancy's point, some people I like to read. I do better reading, but some people do better, hearing and listening.
I guess it depends on, sorry, I should clarify that. I guess for me, it depends on what the material is. To Marie's point, if it's reference material that
it's just the same stuff we do every meetup. And if it's always a lot of the same people, how much added value is there by hearing the same things every meetup?
Right.
That's why I think we went to the FAQ and we just said, hey, you're looking for jobs, you're, just do a quick list. Like you're looking at SAUs, all that information is in the FAQ, just go there. Slack, Agile Denver North, where's the YouTube channel, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
Yeah, put it in the FAQ.
But if it was
I need to be looking at the FAQ more.
Yeah. But if it's something like appreciations,
that's vital. That has to be said.
You have to say that. You can't put that in writing, I don't think.
Agree. And also the, we're talking, but like folks, Claire, et cetera, like, we do have to announce our sponsors, and that's the appreciation. Like, folks are, supporting us and sponsoring us. But what kind of information have you heard? You thought, oh my God, yeah. Really? Like,
Mhm.
if you had an FAQ, is that good? Or do you want to hear it? Like, what do you guys think?
Me personally, for my meetup at the moment, I don't think they want to hear all of that stuff. And if we could just put links in the Google sign up sheet that we send out, and that serves as the reference document, and they can go to the jobs link, our emails on there, so they know how to get a hold of us if they need to. All of those things that is just there, like, and all we have to do is just share one link, which is the sign up. We might even put our Google folder in there with the slides that we share at the end. It's all just in the sign up sheet. It's all there, one and done.
So I'm
Yeah.
curious.
And I like this too. I mean, I'll say I said all the announcements and I didn't even want to hear them. So
I would love to focus on Claire, Cynthia, and Jaya, and Nicole. We're talking as leaders, and we think we're doing it this way, and we should do it that way. But we got 4 folks here that could tell us, no, that's dumb,
No, I guess wherever, a space where you can come back even 6 months later after the meetup and be like, that was a great meetup. And we talked about icebreakers, and we talked about the links to that 9 points game. And I want to go back there. And like, you could maybe like, I don't know, either whether it be through the FAQ or like some way where we can like reference back to previous meetups to be able to find like that link from that one meeting. And I know it was that meeting and we talked about that thing, being able to find that.
Claire, can I ask you to elaborate more? For instance, I just noticed that I don't go to a lot of the meetups. Agile Denver, Lori Langston just sent out an email from her meetup. And it was a beautifully written one. And it's like, here's the slides, here's the this, here's the that. I wonder if, like, are you thinking that maybe in each meetup afterwards, there's a discussion area, you post, here's the slides, next post, here's the video, like, would that help so that you go back 6 months and go, oh, there's the slides, there's what we talked about. The FAQ can always be posted.
So it's like some kind of like almost where we could use the meetup site as like a reference library.
Well, that's what I was getting at when a little bit ago when I said I had an idea for where we can house everything, like a page where it's got all those resources. It would have the FAQ, it would have a summary of each meetup and maybe a link to YouTube. It would have a link to all the games. It would have, that one comprehensive site was kind of what I was thinking.
Or, so back to Claire, what would work better? Like something like that where you can go to the resource and then you find the meetup? Or do you think you just look on the meetup site and look for it, like just from a user perspective?
From a user perspective, so I guess if it was in a reference library, I'd have to know what like the buzzwords for what it was. It was in that meetup, but we talked about the 9 points game. But maybe if I remembered 9 points, then I'd know where to go. But if I remembered it was this topic and we had this great discussion and we shared all these things. But I see value in the reference library too, where if you were saying something like, I want to find the icebreakers, or I want to find the retro ideas, or I want to find, and they were together, then that might be good. There's benefit in that too. So really,
so whatever it is, it needs to be searchable. That's what I heard. It needs to be searchable.
Yeah.
So I just want to say one thing. Meetup is not owned by you.
True.
Your website is. So like to support how Claire would be searching, I would always put a link back to what you own.
Good point.
But then she could search wherever her heart desired.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have to think about.
Yeah, we'll have to brainstorm on that a little bit. I think it's some good ideas.
I'm just terrified of y'all losing your stuff. I'm like, no.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah. No, that
totally.
Would be...
Can I ask? So Claire, you shared your thoughts and visions. How about other users, Cynthia, Jaya? Like, is there along that particular topic? do you find value or a different way of maybe presenting resources to users?
I was really interested in the icebreaker follow-ups, and that information got sent out. The night I presented, I was hoping for more interaction from the group. And so there wasn't as much follow-up material required that evening, but like maybe woulda, coulda, shoulda. So I think we don't need to over-architect it when it comes down to the how. These are 12 meetings a year, right? So yeah, I trust whoever comes up with the ideas there. One thing I did want to capture, it's sort of on a different topic, is the breakouts were great. Katie and Nancy and Marie, you guys all did a really wonderful job with the tech, with the tools early on this year. You guys were really good at when people were dusting off their Zoom skills, and not assuming that people knew what to do, and some people were better at it than others, but the breakout sessions were really good, and people even wanted more time in the breakout sessions. Nancy, to your point of we need more time with people, whether it's introverts or extroverts, you know, it's just been weird. Everybody, it's just been weird. Either too much time on Zoom or not enough. But the breakout sessions, when you got to specific topics and people could share their experiences, I think I participated in 4 or 5 this year of these meetups. So almost every time it could have gone a little longer.
Yeah.
I have a similar experience with my teams in the office. They do really well with the breakout rooms as well. I think that works for a lot of people.
The bummer thing is that it doesn't get recorded, and there's some really juicy, cool stuff that happens in those breakouts.
Yeah, so true.
Awesome.
Jaya posted in chat. She typically attends topics that they're interested in and have not looked for previous material as much. So.
But then she added, but it's nice to have a central place to have the information, links, presentations for folks that do not want to.
I think so too. I'm starting to
saw that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, thanks, Marie.
Yeah, I just
So
I was
what
just the same.
What I'm hearing is this sort of like digressed into, but in a good way, that you guys came up with a solution around, we're not going to go through all the materials. We're just going to do an FAQ. Here you go. Moving on with the actual program. So you guys got rid of that. And right now, I don't think anybody has any ideas about anything else we ought to get rid of. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that accurate?
Well, I think that's a topic we should take offline, because that's like I think maybe I'm wrong, but that's a conversation about how Agile Denver North and Boulder are doing it. But yeah, I can share with you our script and as well as the FAQ, and then you can say, oh, look what's happened. But I really wanted to hear from. So I'm trying to focus on. We got Mac. Mac hasn't said anything yet. Mac, wake up over there.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just curious.
Yeah.
If like, I don't know if I think we got a tiny bit off topic about like, what do you not want to, like, let's just get rid of it. I don't know if we really.
Well, what
touched on
I'm
that.
wondering is if we come up with a solution, a proposed solution for kind of a centralized resource, I'm wondering if that's going to inform what we want to get rid of, right? It's like, oh, we're going to decide we're going to put this stuff here for everybody to get to. Then if we do that, that's going to inform what is not needed. That's kind of where my brain is headed.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have the resources posted someplace. Cynthia, Cynthia, you said you went to 5. Since you're not on mute. I'm picking on you. You went to 5 different meetups. You log on at 6 o'clock. The speaker comes on at 20, maybe 6:15 to 6:20. We do an icebreaker, do a quick whatever. Have you sat there and thought, oh my God, can we just get rid of, is there something that you can answer that question with? Like, what do you see that's just not, it doesn't add value to you as a user? Like I'm coming to this meetup to hear Richard Lawrence talk about a really spectacular presentation and subject. What don't you want to hear from us before he gets on stage? Jaya and Mac.
I think, you know, I think figuring out where we are now is very different than looking at where we were this last year. But I get the point. So I think just crisping things up, because we also went through a transition from Barry to Nancy, you know, right before all of this. So, you know, and so that was a bit of a transition, and a good, and handled very well in a pandemic. So, you know, Nancy read the crowd really well, and Katie, in terms of, and, you know, let's banter a little bit. Let's see where people are at, whether it's their Zoom. So I don't think we need to cover the Zoom logistics. That could be handled in the chat. Maybe Katie or Marie puts a question out to everybody. Whoever's not on point could put a question out. If anybody needs to know how to use this or whatever, you know, text me at this number. So maybe that, to your point, Sherry and Marie, like answering your question directly, I think the Zoom instructions, we can not worry about Zoom instructions.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
Is there anything else?
We should still make them available in a way, because we have some people who lost their job after X number of years, and they come in and they've been using Microsoft Teams and they don't know how to use Zoom. You know, so.
No. So Cynthia, I think for Agile Denver North, we have a like a quick slide deck, so we could put the link in there. Do you think we text? So Nancy's and Katie are doing the banter and doing a few announcements, and someone says, I don't know how to do Zoom. And I say, here, take a quick look at this link. And you just go through the slides, and it goes, here, look down here. This is how you do this, how you do that. Do you think that is a solution, or what would you recommend as a solution? Because I know we dropped at Agile Denver North, we did drop Zoom. We don't talk about it anymore. We did, but what do you think is a good solution? How would you handle that person?
I think that's where you have a team of 3 of you or whatever, so somebody can email them or whatever. You may have to go back to email or text. I'm not sure.
Right?
Or maybe they can even do it in the chat.
Yeah, we can do it in chat, right? We can say, here's a link, look through this. And if you have any questions.
Well, I guess there's always the question you could add, which is, anybody new tonight? Which we used to always do when we met in person, right? And I think Nancy even did that a couple times this year. Like, who do we have that's new to Agile? This is your first Agile Boulder meetup ever, you know, sort of thing. So I think we should
I have an idea around that too. Oh, so we're at our time box, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But great. I have an idea for that, Marie, too, and Cynthia.
And
I think get to the speaker. Get to the speaker quickly.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, what can we get rid of?
Right.
Jaya and Mac, if you are so inclined, if you can throw something in a chat that says, like, get rid of this, and just throw it in there so we have a record of that too. It's really helpful information.
Yeah.
I know we're past the time box, but you always have your agenda. So if I'm not feeling social, I cook my dinner and then I come at 6:15.
Yeah.
You have an out if you don't care or aren't socially interested.
Yeah, the one thing that I would hate to give up, I could see giving up all the announcements, but the one thing I would not want to give up are the icebreakers.
Yes.
Yeah. Because everybody learns from that about what you can even take forward and try with your teams.
Yeah.
So Cynthia, I'm going to keep going back to the people that aren't organizers. Do you agree? Jaya,
I think icebreakers every other month.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Or keep them super simple or something.
Like really quick.
I like them. It probably depends on the topic. But after a long day at work, and if somebody was in meetings and they already had icebreakers in their meetings or whatever,
that's true.
Quickly, you know, I don't know.
Good meetings should have them. You're right. That's a good point. Yeah.
Jaya, you agreed, but so agreed, you like them. So every month you think it's okay, or did you agree to every other month's cool?
No, yes to the icebreakers.
Well, could make them, can have quick ones too, so.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
but here's the other thing with icebreakers, like
You've got a topic where 30 people show up. They clearly want to hear the speaker. So it may be a matter of how big the group is to do the icebreakers potentially. I don't know. I trust you guys.
Yeah.
I know we're at the time limit. I just, so sorry I had to take that call. It's not my norm. But I just am so appreciative to all of you and for keeping this going through this year. There was a lot of
thank you
change
so
going
much.
on, and then for everything, and the topics were good to really good, to excellent. And
Awesome.
so thank you.
Well, thanks for your input. I mean, that's
Yeah, thank you.
why we're here tonight, so it was super important.
Yeah, really.
Did we do a
appreciate that.
power chat thing and everybody just answer the last question about what are you looking forward to when we're in person? And just throw something in the chat and
The
we'll just comment.
food.
Oh, that's what I was writing. I was typing it.
I know. It's like turning the music on, opening up the door at 6 o'clock and say, come on in, people, like, that's what I miss.
I do actually I miss standing at the podium with our microphones.
Oh my God.
I do
That
miss
is so much fun.
So-
That is just- yeah, we both have microphones at Scrum Alliance. It's like, it's too much.
Piggies. Oh my gosh. Katie, do you want to spout them out?
Let's just spout what the stuff in the
Yeah,
chat.
just what's in the chat, just for the recording, I guess.
Food, more food, just kidding. Hugs,
Mhm.
faces in
Hugs.
3D, more interaction, engaging, more voices, sticky notes.
Sticky
Oh,
notes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should also put in there Sharpies. The
And
smell of
Sharpies.
Sharpies.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks. So we won't keep you any longer, but it was your input so appreciated, and we'll
Thank you so much
get
for
some
everything.
changes and keep you-
And we have, you had some contact information, Agile Boulder at agiledenver.org, Marie at Agile Denver North. Sherry, are you Agile Denver at agiledenver.org?
It's AD
At-
hyphen main at agiledenver.org.
Okay.
Okay.
So for
I'll
this,
put it in
for this
chat.
purpose of this meetup, I'm just hoping that if you think of anything else, please send an email, like to all three of us, because there's 3 different organizations here. So it would be really nice to, if you say, oh, I forgot about, I would love to hear this. And actually, I would hate to hear more about that. It would be really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to be upset about it. It's just, this is valuable information. And if you say, no, never do this again, it'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. So, okay.
Retrospective. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Have a great
care,
night,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.